Hi everyone! Today we're going to do a little class on how to use the yoga wheel. So especially if you've just recently bought one or you're thinking about buying one but you're not really sure what poses you can do or stretches you can do at home, this will hopefully help you out a little bit. Just a bit of some simple stretches to kind of work into your practice, maybe before your usual class or before your usual workout.
So coming down into our child's pose to begin. Knees opening out wide, forehead down onto the mat. Starting to melt the armpits, the chest, the sit bones down towards the earth. Feeling the shoulders, the arms, the upper back, lower back, the whole length of the spine lengthening. Allowing our bodies to settle here. Finding our breath. Taking a moment to be completely present and still. Just focusing on the breath. Maybe gently rocking the head left and right, massaging the third eye, the forehead. Coming up to a seated position, and let's bring the wheel out in front of us, making sure the wheel is rolling straight out so it's not angled off to one side, so we're rolling to one side. Resting the hands and starting to rock forward, almost like our melting heart or puppy pose. So see if you can keep the hips stacked directly above the knees. And starting to melt the chest down towards the mat. Maybe the forehead can come down, maybe it can't. Just allow the head to hang here. And we're rocking forward and back, massaging through the shoulders and the armpits. Starting to open up here, creating a little back bend. Creating some space in the chest, in the front body. And then coming into our tabletop position, so our little flat back, making sure we've got a nice flat back here. Reach up with the right hand on the inhale, and then exhale with threading the arm through for thread the needle. Resting the ear down onto the mat, and resting the left hand onto the wheel. So again, making sure that the wheel is nice and straight, so we're not rolling over to one side. Just keeping that left arm nice and long, reaching forward, resting on the wheel, but still keeping the shoulders away from the ears. So nice and soft. Slowly roll the wheel back through center, hopefully keeping it straight. Coming back into the middle and repeating on the other side. So inhale, left arm reaches up. Exhale, reaching over, threading through to the other side. And resting the fingertips, the hand onto the wheel, rolling it out in front. Elongating, lengthening through that right arm this time. Again, keeping the shoulders down away from the ears. Making sure the shoulders don't shrug up towards the ears, which is really easy to do in this variation, in this pose, this posture. Slowly roll the wheel back into center, coming back through center, reversing the path, coming back into our tabletop. Shake it out. Release any tension in the shoulders and the hips. And we're slowly starting to come down to lay on our bellies, so maybe coming through a half push-up, maybe coming through a cobra, or just sliding the chest through. On the next inhale, coming into a baby cobra, or maybe even upward facing dog. Maybe walking the hands a little further forward for a less intense stretch in the lower back. If you'd like a bit more, maybe starting to roll the wheel in towards the chest. So we're resting the chest, or even the front of the stomach, the front of the belly, onto a wheel. We've got quite a bit of weight here, so making sure it's nice and comfortable. We don't want any bruised ribs here, so just finding that spot where you can really allow the whole upper body to kind of just lay down on there, feeling supported by the wheel. Keep those shoulders drawing back and down. Beautiful chest opener here, and opening up through the lower back. Gently start to roll the wheel back out in front, releasing the hands beside the body for shoulders falling forward. Counter posing back for our back bend. allowing the back body to rest. Deep breaths into the back ribs. Next inhale, let's push the mat away with both hands, tuck the toes under, and exhale into our downward facing dog. Maybe first down dog of the day, so let's walk the feet out. Just pressing one heel down, then the other. Lengthening through the backs of the legs. Remember to keep the head heavy, gazing back towards the toes or the knees. Try to get that nice sharp V shape between the legs and the belly. Bend the knees nice and deep on the inhale and the exhale, step the feet forward. Bring the feet hip width apart. And again, it's really important that we don't just focus on straight legs here, but keeping the belly and thighs connected. Maybe staying in ragdoll, or threading the hands through and straightening the legs now, taking opposite elbows, just allowing the whole upper body to hang here. So doing a little, almost like a ragdoll variation, where you're using the weight of the wheel to fold a little further forward, deepen that forward fold. Deepen that massaging motion, that stretch in the lower back and in the hamstrings. Gently release when you're ready. On the inhale, let's come into a halfway lift, flat back, maybe fingertips to the wheel or just fingertips to the shins, and then exhale, forward fold. On the inhale, we're stepping the feet back into our plank. Nice straight line, maybe rocking the wheel forwards so it's out of our way. Inhale, come into our baby cobra, cobra or upward facing dog, and exhale straight back to our downward facing dog. Again, walking the feet out, pressing the heels down towards the mat, shaking it all out. On the next inhale, let's raise the right leg up, three-legged dog, and exhale, gently, lightly step it through between the hands. Let's roll the wheel back out here, and option to just lower the back knee down to a half crescent lunge. Or we can use the wheel and prop it underneath the front of that left thigh. So instead of sinking all that weight into the wheel, see if you can lift off, and we're just gently resting the top of that thigh onto the wheel. If it is too much, we can do a little bit more and put a bit more weight onto the wheel. Keep sending the back heel towards the back wall. We've still got a lot of weight into our front sole of the foot, pushing the mat away, grounding down. Fingertips or palms back down into the mat, and each exhale is still sinking those hips a little lower down, opening up through the hip flexors. Gently rolling the wheel back forward, grounding the palms back down into the mat, and step the right foot back into our plank. On the exhale, coming back to our downward facing dog, shaking the hips out, walking the legs out, and preparing for the other side. So inhale, left leg up this time, three-legged dog. Then exhale, step it through between the hands. Again, option to lower to the back knee for half crescent lunge, or bring our wheel to the front of the right thigh. Again, see if you can just lightly rest the thigh onto the wheel. Keep sending the back heel towards the back wall. Keep grounding down to that front foot. Otherwise, if you'd like a little bit more support, then maybe putting a little bit more weight onto the back thigh. Maybe even rocking forward and back here. Coming to the very tips of the toes and to the ball of the foot. Feeling that little massaging motion in the front of the quad, front of that right thigh. Step the feet back into plank. On the exhale, half push-up chaturanga. Inhale, baby cobra, cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Shake it out again. Walk it out. Doing what you need, feeling the difference between the left and right sides, and then gently dropping the knees back down onto the mat. Coming into a kneeling position for a moment, really peeling chest open, shaking out any kinks in the neck. Preparing for a few deeper back bends now. So sitting down onto the sit bones and using the thumbs to draw the wheel towards the lower back. Gently starting to lay down onto the wheel. Maybe allowing the pelvis, the sit bones to leave the mat. And using the soles of the feet to kind of push the mat away and rocking forward and back. So really important here to keep the chin tucked, drawing down towards the chest. Or interlace the fingers behind the neck or behind the head and just support the head and the neck here. It's really important to do this so we don't injure the neck and we're not dropping it back. So just have a little play and experiment here. Rocking up and down all along the spine. Massaging maybe from the base of the neck, the tops of the shoulders, all the way down to the very lower back. Finding the spot that feels the best. Really feeling that massage. Maybe even lengthening the legs completely. Dropping the arms overhead. Maybe crown of the head can come down onto the mat. So it's really important to allow the whole body to just relax. And just let the wheel support the whole weight of the body. These wheels can usually support up to 140 kg, so it's not going to collapse underneath the body weight. Maybe reaching the fingers back, grabbing a hold of the wheel, and starting to draw the crown of the head or the forearms down towards the mat, really opening up through the armpits and through the chest a little bit further. Breathing here. And on the way up, again, supporting the neck first, slowly reversing the path, just sitting back up. Maybe using the hands to help us. Option to repeat that little massaging motion just before. Otherwise, coming into a bit of a deeper back bend. So into kneeling position first, knees hip width apart. If you'd like a little deeper back bend, maybe even bring the wheel right up behind the buttocks. If you'd like a little less, then just bring the wheel onto around the middle of the middle back, or even a little higher up on the upper back. So still coming down the same way, supporting the neck. And then slowly starting to drop back down, laying over the wheel. Maybe reaching up, reaching back and over, grabbing a hold of the wheel, and again drawing the top of the head, drawing the forearms down into the mat. So again, keeping the head heavy and neck relaxed the whole way. We're not using our neck or straightening the neck to draw the crown of the head down. On the way down, support the neck first, and then once the chin is tucked in towards the chest, press the hands down into the soles of the feet, into the heels, and chest leads forward, coming back up. Come into a child's pose, forehead down onto the mat, shoulders fall forward. And counter pose, allow the back to round back out, releasing through the upper and lower back again. Deep breaths here into the back body. So especially if you're just starting off with the wheel, these little back bend, this massaging motion might feel quite uncomfortable at first. But after a while, it can be really soothing, just a really great release, especially if you're sitting around all day, or if you're moving heavy things around, or just standing on your feet all day. It's really great to just release all that tension in the back body. Okay, so extending through that left leg now, and we're propping the right leg, so either the outside edge of the calf or even the ankle or the sole of the foot, and propping it, resting it onto the wheel. Starting to use both hands to hug that wheel in towards the chest. So we're hugging the shin in closer towards the chest as well. Keeping the spine nice and long, so we're not rounding out through the spine. Maybe having a little rocking motion even. Just rocking the wheel forward and back. Keep that top foot flexed to protect the knee. And then starting to lengthen out through that right leg. Backs of the calves resting on the wheel. Maybe keeping that knee bent if it's too much, or rocking the wheel a little further forward. Keep both feet flexed, toes drawing back towards the face. Avoid rounding out through the spine, keeping the chest open. Again, chest leaning forward, maybe starting to walk the hands a little further forward, maybe even on the outside edge of the wheel. And maybe eventually drawing the chest down towards the shin. Rolling the wheel back towards the body and swapping sides. So this time, right leg extending out long, and left calf, left foot, left ankle, resting onto the wheel. Top foot flexed, protecting the knee, and starting to hug the wheel in towards the chest. Opening up through the glutes and the hamstrings, through the hips. Again, maybe that rocking motion forward and back, massaging the hips out. Even a bit of a massaging motion in the calves and in the outside edges of the thighs. Extending through that left leg now this time. Both feet flexed. Again, avoid crunching out, rounding out through the back. Chest open, shoulders back and down. And then chest leaning forward, maybe starting to fold forward, walking the hands forward. Bend the knees if you need to. Just work with your breath. Try not to strain anything. As always, we're just using the wheel as a prop to help us into deeper poses and get even a little bit deeper into our usual poses. Both legs maybe back out in front and shaking them in, shaking them out, or hug them in towards the chest. Big squeeze, curling up into a little ball, releasing the hips and the hamstrings and the upper and lower back. Some final few core strengthening poses before rest. So either staying here with the feet flat on the mat or raising the legs up, shins at a 90-degree angle. Remember releasing the fingers, stretch out in front. Maybe even using our wheel and propping it, resting it onto the shins. It's really important to keep those shins at a 90-degree angle so the wheel doesn't slip down. Maybe keeping the hands behind the knees or behind the thighs to support, otherwise reaching those fingertips forward. Again, keeping that V shape in the back and the legs so we're not dumping all that weight into the lower back. And then gently release. So starting to lay back down into our backs. Coming into a few bridge poses first. So a little bit more back bending before rest. So it's quite similar to our usual bridge, but this time we're going to bring the soles of the feet onto the wheel, maybe using the feet to rock the wheel in towards the body. See if you can reach down and grab the wheel with the fingers and really hold it in, hug it in towards the sit bones. Keep hugging it in, and we're pushing the wheel away with the soles of the feet and starting to lift the pelvis off the mat. Lift those hips up nice and high. Keep grounding down in the soles of the feet. Avoid letting those knees open out, so keeping them hip width apart, protecting the knees here. Drawing the inside thighs in together, squeezing the buttocks. See if you can lift the hips up a little bit higher. Peeling the chest open, opening up through the shoulders, and then exhale, gently releasing. Just resting here for a couple of breaths. And then bringing the soles of the feet back down onto the mat. Couple of ways to come up into our little shoulder stand variation. So either the soles of the feet coming back up onto the wheel and kind of walking along the wheel and kind of just nudging the wheel back up into our lower back, underneath our lower back, underneath the hips. Or we can bring the soles of the feet or the tips of the toes back down onto the mat. Push those hips up and then start to slide the wheel underneath. Maybe using a bit of momentum, keep hugging the knees in towards the chest first and draw the wheel a little higher up the back. Using both hands to hug it in, squeeze it in. Maybe even hugging it in a little bit higher, drawing it up a little bit higher up the spine. Lifting the hips up a little bit higher. Reaching the toes up towards the sky. Putting a bit more pressure onto the neck and the shoulders here, so massaging out through the shoulders, massaging out through the thyroid. Maybe coming into plow pose, dropping the feet overhead. Doesn't matter if the feet can't reach. And slowly starting to reverse the path. So allowing the weight of the hips just come down onto the wheel, being supported again. And then reverse the path, so maybe toes coming back down onto the mat first and rolling the wheel back out. Lowering the hips back down onto the mat. Moving the wheel aside now and preparing for our final few gentle twists. So coming to our windscreen wipers. Feet mat width apart. Arms opening out wide, palms facing up. On an exhale, we're dropping the knees over towards the right hand side. Inhale, knees back to center, and exhale, knees over towards the left. Gaze back towards the right arm. So inhale, knees back to center, then over towards the right. Gaze back towards the left hand. Inhale, back to center, and exhale towards the left. Gaze back towards the right. Maybe repeating a few more times, massaging out through the sacrum and the lower back. Getting any last few bits of tension out of the body. Opening the hips. Opening the shoulders and the spine. The neck. Before coming into final Shavasana. Lengthening the legs nice and long. And staying here for as long as you need. Namaste.